Fortune and Strife features subjects which can be uncomfortable for a general audience, such as the use of drugs and alcohol, poor treatment of people of different classes or cultures, adult situations, psychological trauma, deprivation, survival, natural disasters, and violence. Listener discretion advised. In addition, these next few episodes of the show contain cultural and historical content based upon the peoples of Asia and the Far East. We are coming at this from a place of respect and genuine interest and a love of these cultures, places, and history. We may not get it 100% right all the time, and we ask you to bear with us and give us the benefit of the doubt, and we would let us know when we get it wrong. We want to be an ally in dispelling Orientalism that has affected the Asian and Middle Eastern communities around the world. Welcome to Fortune and Strife. I am Robert, or Bayoshi Shinichi, and I'll be your host and narrator.
I am Jeanne, and I am playing Doji Gen.
I am Tyler, and I am playing Akoto Ricci. Let's play some L5R in the Burning Sands.
Less than a week after the Emir says his goodbyes and apologies for the way things ended in that last conversation, you were traveling with Fuad and a few other attendants and guards on a set of camels that the Emir's caravan has let you depart with. And you travel through the desert for a few days following a river that you seem to be traveling north at this point. They tell you that this is known as the King's River and that it'll lead you towards the great jewel of the desert, to the city Al Zawira, the capital of the Qawarist Empire. And you see it come up over a set of sand dunes as you get close to this, along this, as you travel on the river, and it starts to crick from north south to east west, and then you come across it, a great walled city, almost from the looks of things, almost completely circular from uh, where you crest, with these tall, spiring minarets, these very thin towers, and a great golden domed uh, uh, temple in the middle of the city that you see, and sets of homes and houses dot the area around the walls of the city. And before long, you are traveling towards the main entrance, which they tell you you have to take from one side of the King's River across. That is the way into the city is known as the Bridge of Boats, and this is the main entrance to El Zawira, and it is a bunch of barges all strapped together into a bit of a long pontoon bridge that crosses uh, the King's River here. And they tell you that in case of invasion or whatnot, or siege, that they can cut these boats, and the entrance into the city will be cut off to those who wish to seek to do the city or the Sultan harm. And it's it's easier going than you think. You weren't sure exactly how the camels and the weight of all these people traveling to and fro from the city would be supported by this kind of rocking motion of the pontoon bridge from one end to the next. But no, the bridge of boats seems to hold quite well, and as long as you're not uh, too uncertain on your feet, or liable to be seasick, then you can cross it without too much trouble. And from there, you find yourself within kind of the heart of the city. You are now in what they call the Fuad calls the middle city, and you pass through several different markets, past the main Quamaris temple that you saw there with the large golden dome, through the Pilgrim's Court, the Market of Books, which oh, again, you have a mighty need, but you are being told that you can't stop here right now. You don't have any of the local currency, anything like that. I'm thinking this is probably kicking in and killing your curiosity to not be able to stop
Absolutely.
and go through the Market of Books. So gain 3 strife as you pass through the Market of Books, and you can't stop to go through all of these texts I mean, there's books on almost everything you can imagine. It seems like as you pass through, you're only able to catch so many of the words that the hawkers are saying or what the covers read, but they must have a copy of almost every book in the world. It seems like in this market.
Absolutely, yes. I am 100% dying of curiosity, not just on the books, but
Everything,
every
right?
single thing here
You
is
are just
just
assaulted by the sounds. I mean, you've been to Otosan Uchi, and it can get rowdy on festival days and whatnot, but you're stunned by the amount of people and of just the crush of it. Like, while Otosan Uchi can get busy and hurried at times, it's not to the same level of people packed shoulder to shoulder trying to get through places to get from one end of the city to the next. It is just, taking the capital city of your empire and the business of it and just ramping it up by almost tenfold. It's almost completely overwhelming to the two of you.
I am hereby declaring that Gen's mission is going to be able to somehow get out and see this city one way or another.
Yeah, one way or another, she's gonna get the chance to visit it all, to get to know every bit of it, every street, every market. You might skip the temples. Who knows? Maybe you'll duck in at least once, but yeah, you gotta get through this place. And it isn't long before Fuad brings you up to the inner walls of the city, what he is calling the Round City. This was the earliest settlements. It has the most perfectly round uh, walls in all the world, built to a perfect circle by geometrists of the highest order, and that you will not find its like anywhere else in the world. And he takes you through this, and it is, yeah, the most prestigious district of the city. You can tell this is where the money and the aristocracy lives, and you are all being guided towards what appears to be some sort of palace complex. And he lets you know that the emir has asked to have you set up in private quarters on his wing of the estates here, as the herald of the sultan and the prophet, as the voice of the caliph. You will have uh, rooms there within his section of the palace, and it guides you to a very nice, heck, if not what you might consider opulent, kind of. I guess the web supposed to be like an adjoining house, like it's on the same property as the palace, but it has kind of connecting thoroughfares that bring you to other parts of it, but it is not necessarily tied into the rest of the palace. You can't just go from one end to the next. You have to leave this house and go to travel to others. But you are brought
Hmm.
within the herald's estate on the grounds of the caliph's palace here, and you are met by a rather stern, older gentleman who just almost wants to sneer at you. He sees you in uh, Quamara's clothing, but sees that it is not properly fitted for you, and it is, and he sees your uh, sunburnt skin and faces, and trying to pull off the garb that you have been gifted by whatever fit you from the travelers that were with the emir earlier. He just says, this will not do. I will send for fresh clothing and set up someone to come and make sure that you are well bathed and have your skin looked after. I will show you through
Baths.
a few
You've
rooms.
got baths.
Yeah,
Oh.
he
The
he at
Rokugan.
least kind of smirks a bit of a smile at that, even though he's clearly looking down on you all. There is like, well, at least you're somewhat civilized, it would seem. Jamila, take these four to a bath, and then be sure to lay out clothes for the four of them. And this younger maid kind of comes up, and she is just all smiles and eager to lend a hand, if not being a bit more forward than Rokugani are used to. They're not used to people being kind of this close into their personal space, as she touches the smalls of your backs and kind of guides you down towards where they have these baths set up. They do have it separated by gender for this one. There's no mixed gender bathing here, it seems, but these are wonderfully tiled and beautifully painted tiles at that, white with blues and yellows, and just this overwhelming sense of both geometric patterns, but also explosions of color that make up these the baths in here. And you are able to finally get into a good proper soak.
Oh, heaven. Heaven.
It's so nice.
Hayate turns to Ricci there and says, I know I'm knowing I'm supposed to do it, but it's been so long since I've been in a tub. And he kind of looks over at you and sheepishly kind of grins and says, but we're not in Rokugan, so I think I could get away with it. And he dunks himself fully under, just completely submerges his head, and then pops back up, shaking his head with the water flying off in all directions afterwards, like almost like a dog shaking itself off after a rain. Oh, it feels so good to just have water just all over my face again and my body. And oh, Ricci-san, this is this is wonderful.
Well earned, I believe, in our respects. Oh, it's been far too long.
I'm so glad they believe in good baths here. They didn't have the same wash setup we have at home, but this bath more than makes up for it, even if it is what I was afraid was going to be cold tile, but it's instead of wood. But this is still quite nice. Oh,
It is. I'm pleasantly surprised at how well their bathing facilities are.
Yeah, different, but still comfortable enough to make me feel like partway at home.
I would say the only thing I'm really missing here is some sort of music.
Or a drink.
Oh, I would. Oh man, I would kill for some sake right now.
Some nice of that. Something sweet, something with some flavor to it. Something to remind you of summer. Something like peaches or plums.
Yeah, and Ricci gets a little morose at that, and just that would be good sake.
Wouldn't it though? If we ever get back, there's someone I should introduce you to. She is a wonder of a brewer. But he just, without knowing anything about your connection with her, just kind of leaves it at that. Just thinking, oh man, it'd be nice to get back to home. And you're like, yeah.
It would be nice to get back to drink some of that sake.
Yeah. Meanwhile, over in the other bath, it's Gen and Sueno, and Sueno is just
the hairbrush.
Yes. The two of you take turns tending after each other's hair and brushing it fully out for the first time in forever. And Sueno kind of whispers into your ear from behind as she's brushing out your hair and says, we'll have to at some point find some way to bleach your hair again soon, or decide whether you want to keep it in the white fashion here while we are in the city in Elzaweera.
Yeah, alas, did not bring my dyes with the other kimono, so I'm gonna look a fool for some time, I suppose.
Well, no one else should really know what you're looking to achieve. Who knows? Maybe they might find it fashionable here.
Well, or we'll get some black walnuts and take care of it that way for a while.
Just let me know.
I wonder if they have
how you feel about that. Whichever
I
way
wonder
you
if
want
they
to
have
go.
black walnuts here. I wonder if they have black walnuts here.
Oh, that's true. I don't know. I was so used to thinking it would be so easy to get the dye one way or the other, to bleach it white or to take you black to black. But yeah, I have no idea what they would do. But looking at the decorations around here, it's not like there seems to be a struggling to find a use for uh, paint or pigment or colors. They seem to have it in abundance.
It, indeed, it is quite strange that way. The dye, as you know, is from the Asahina. So I'm sure they don't have anything quite like that here, but I believe I saw people with different colors of hair as we came in. I wonder if they are naturally yellow haired or red haired or
I was wondering
as
the same
well.
thing, how you would dye it to get it that color. I saw so many, but I have to admit, um, I don't I don't know. It seems to draw the eye too much, but then again, we're probably going to do the same no matter what we do. And I mean, unless we covered ourselves in basket hats, and even that would probably seem stranger than it would at home.
I did not see very many with white hair, though. So something to look at if we can get out of this place so we could explore the city. How frustrating! There's so much to see.
Just the first day. I mean, imagine if you had a guess of some phoenix had to come in, and all they wanted to do was uh, visit a bookbinders, but it was your job to make sure that they got, at least got into the home and got to know where their futons were at before you had the chance to take them into town.
That's true. I'm sure that they would have no problem allowing us to go after a day or two.
Of course, once we're settled in and uh, they have the we find the way of it. I'm sure once we know how to get our way back and out, it should be no trouble to get you out there. I'm sure you saw more than a few books you would die to have in your collection back home.
Uh, and of course, we would need to see if we can find a unicorn merchant or something and to be able to join up with a unicorn caravan to return to the Empire.
That
It seems the most likely way.
yes. Yeah, that it would, but maybe we don't have to rush that so much. I mean, we might enjoy it here for a bit.
At least not until after we've seen the books. I'm sure my lord would be very interested in knowing what's inside those books. It's very important to the crane.
Yes, important to the crane, and like with that, like Sueno would wrap a hand around Gen's stomach and kind of hold her close and just say, "But while we're here, no one knows my position or your position, and we don't have to worry about who we are or you know what our what our status is. We could just be ourselves."
Again, sighs just a little bit and feels that pang of the conflict between duty and desire.
There you go.
Giri and Ninjo. She's like, yeah, we could stay here. I bet there's a jillion bugs to classify, and we can hang out with Sueno and read those books. But on the other hand, I have this duty in the Empire I'm supposed to be doing, even if I don't like it very much.
Yeah.
So she falls silent at that, and there's kind of a pang in that silence of
Yeah,
what that
you
might
guys kind
mean.
of let that sit and kind of be heavy in the bath there, but after a while, yeah, everyone kind of uh, returns to their to the rooms that Jamila has set out, and it's fairly standard seems to be kind of, uh, I would say probably kind of what you might consider something to wear while you're lounging around, or even your bed clothes kind of thing. It's something light, something comfortable, something easy, kind of almost again like those long tunics meets a robe, or dress meets a robe kind of fashion, but they're very plain and unassuming, but comfortable. So it definitely seems like it's something to kind of tide over until they have a chance to truly dress you proper. And kind of Jamila
Mhm.
drops a few hints at that. And she's like, I just can't wait till we get someone in here to take your measurements and to pick out what colors you might be interested in, and really put together an outfit for you all.
Ah, thank you so much. This is good. Are we in the same building, like different rooms now, so we're not
Yeah,
too
there's
far away from each other?
probably let's say adjoining rooms, right? You guys can
Okay.
Okay.
have adjoining rooms to each other here. They are separating you by gender for the moment, just as a sense of propriety. It's also not like you guys have caused any issues while you were traveling with the Emir. So um, uh, Fuad
Okay.
probably just said, yeah, just give them two adjoining rooms. Probably better to keep them closer together than having to worry about them moving backwards and forwards the whole time through the house.
Okay. So then we can settle down and get something to eat and figure out what we're doing from here, huh?
hmm And yeah, it's not long after that Rafi, Jamila, and Fuad come up and bring you a meal, and they do their best to have tried to uh, make a bit of a Rokugani meal. They definitely have put out rice, this time uncolored or seasoned by saffron, and they seem to have picked up on what you guys were talking about before. There seems to be uh, uh, many bits, little small plates of different types of fish, and mostly seems to be grilled, and you know uh, lightly pickled vegetables this time, instead of the more aggressively, how should we say, flavored or pickled vegetables that you had earlier, along with the olives and things like that. So, like, well, we've done our best to kind of do something a bit more in your tradition tonight, and I hope this will uh, uh, bring back some flavors of home.
Your accommodations are more than welcome.
The Emir says that we should have spare uh, in nothing in any way to make sure that you are comfortable here after such a terribly arduous journey through the desert. That we should get your strength back up, get you well fed, and with something that'll be comfortable to you in the meantime,
Thank you.
of course. And you could almost see that Rafi is just not interested in this meal, hardly wants to touch uh, uh, any of the food that you have, and what he does have, he does his best uh, to season with condiments to bring it to more of his kind of region of the world versus yours.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, this could, if you'd like, if you think this, even though it is kind of a rather plain meal by Rokugani standards, I don't know if you think this is going to be enough to key off gourmet for Ricci or not. But it's something interesting to try and see what people might consider Rokugani cuisine through the eyes of an outsider.
It's interesting, but it's not enough to really like trigger that, because Ricci's all about the good food.
There you
and
go.
and this is a pale imitation of what good
There you
Rokugani
go.
food is.
Well, if I can ascribe you narrative strife, I can also knock off for narrative strife. So how about every Rokugani knocks off one strife for a meal that tastes somewhat of home?
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll take it this way. It's not the food that did it. It was the bath.
It was the bath. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. Mm-hmm.
Or
Yeah.
more accurately, a combination of the two. It was a good bath, and at least they were trying on food, so that puts a little bit at
Yeah.
ease.
I had a friend who said when they saw the bathing passion put into one of the books, I think Path of Waves, they're like, well, that seems like it would hardly come up. I'm like, oh, then you don't
Oh,
know
no.
enough about Rokugani culture. Every good scene should have every good thing should have a bathing scene in it. Yeah, every good bit of fiction or play or whatever you got. Yeah. The bath is wonderful.
All right. So the first thing, unable to appease her curiosity in the markets and bookstores and so on of the city outside, she again pours herself into exploring at least every nook and cranny of the of her quarters inside, and she just can't get over how much metal there is, like everything that would be made out of fine lacquer work is made out of silver here, or things that might be made out of jade. It's all like ornately etched, things like water ewers and stuff that just, it seems so overdone, but it's also very, very interesting. And so she does that for a while. She's just looking all around the place, but what she finally just is really exhausted because it gets to the end of the day. We've been traveling all day, and she gets to the bed, and she's trying to figure out why it's always out instead of rolled up, and it's elevated up above the floor, and it's got this like big mounds of soft like carpets on it rather than just like a normal blanket. And it's just this like she's short anyway, and she's like trying to climb up on top of this thing, and it's
That's true. The beds would be so much higher than you used to. Yeah.
It's like climbing up on top of a mountain to try just to get on top of this thing, and there's like curtains all around it with a fine spun netting that she's not sure what this would be, but anyway, so she's just lying there and it's like, I'm gonna sink inside this thing and fall on the floor, and fortunately she's tired enough that she finally falls asleep, but it's all very weird for her. And there's a period there where she and Sueno are both giggling at how weird it is to try and lie on these tall beds.
So, well, she has a little less trouble getting into the bed than you did. It's still, she's just into a fit of giggles as she sinks into the downy mattress. It's like it's like being on a pillow than on a futon again. I can't believe they sleep this way every night.
How do you get out again?
I know.
I think I'm gonna need your help to get down.
We're gonna need to set some sort of stool up or build some stairs up to the side of this bed here.
Take a rope ladder. I think we could weave a rope ladder out of these curtains. Maybe that's what you're supposed to slide down them to get to the ground.
Yeah, not mosquito netting so much as a way of getting in and out of the bed entirely.
But fortunately, they're asleep, so they get to sleep eventually.
Very nice. All right, Ricci, do you have a scene you might want, or should we go on to another one of Gen's?
I have nothing else at this point, so
All right.
again, take it away.
Okay. Hoping you'd have something. Once the next day, once once she's figured out how to get out of bed, and they've had some breakfast, Yen goes outside and starts trying to explore the gardens, and just outside the emir's palace, and she is walking through, and she hears. Well, she sees all of these fascinating flowers. Some she recognizes, some she does not. There's fountains with water flowing in them through some kind of interesting plumbing.
Right, channels of water that cut through the gardens and the walkways, but are they're not quite irrigation, but they are definitely part of the fountain system. Yeah.
Yeah, so she's looking for the she's used to over visible bamboo pipes, and she doesn't see those, which is unusual to her. But she's actually looking for the machinery, and as she's walking through the garden, she hears a bird tweeting, and she looks up, and she swears that bird is made of metal. It has a odd repetitive cry, and it makes this whirring sound, and then it makes the same cry again, but it doesn't fly away. So she spends a long time looking at it. It's way up on a branch high above her, so she can't actually go near it. But it's like, is that a real bird? Is that a bird made out of metal? Does it just look like it's made of metal? Is that a Caillou doll that they put up in the tree? She's very, very intrigued by that bird.
One of the gardeners would come by at some point and see you just mesmerized by the bird, and kind of would offer to see if you want to take a closer look at it.
Can I? Absolutely, 100%.
And they reach up, and it seems to be affixed to a potted plant that the gardener is able to bring down and kind of set, and the branch is kind of set in as a decoration, almost like an icabanist might use different branches or things like that. This is clearly something built up for it. And yeah, you can see different thin pipes leading up to the bird, and some sort of ticking, clicking mechanism machinery. It's quite unusual. I've never seen anything like it. Causes the body of the bird to turn left and right, for the head to move up and down, and for even its little beak to open and close. And the closer you get to it and you hear the bird's call, is you can hear the sound of the whistling being caused by uh, some sort of air pressure being applied to water. It sounds like someone gargling. It's a water whistle, the kind of a gurgling noise that makes the whistle there, as terribly as I did it there momentarily. My throat is terribly dry, but yeah, there's some sort of like water whistling mechanism inside, and somehow the beak moves in time with the warbling of the water whistle, and you wish you could get inside and take a look at it, but it is clearly some sort of mechanical oddity, wonder, really.
So she's got, again, has her hands like tightly clasped behind her back so she doesn't start taking the thing apart to look inside. But she's looking at it all over. She crouches down. She peers in it, This is amazing. This is wonderful. Do you know how this was created?
And the gardener shakes their head. No, it's beyond me. The clock the how should I say this? Uh, the watchmaker that created it is a bit of an eccentric genius and presented this to the caliph, to the caliph's father, to the previous caliph. This is one of his older models. If you can believe it, he has even more intricate and designs that include even more motion and don't need to be as looked after as this one does. I have just known how to take care of it, how to water it, and make sure that the mechanism keeps running with a little bit of oil here and there, and to make sure the water goes into the system and that it can continue to work the bellows. I just run a fair bit of maintenance on it. If it broke, I wouldn't know how to fix it. It's just a whole mess of gears and springs and and they are all so tiny and finely carved and filed down. And yeah, you can tell this person is also just as enamored and enraptured by the awe of this little automation.
Well, Gem will happily take a look at that, and while she's looking at it, Sueno is somewhat bored and looking around the gardens, and Sueno sees strutting by and spreading its tail feathers a full-fledged peacock with all of its glorious feathers all spread out. And looking at Sueno, and she like gently taps Gen on the shoulder, like, "Do you want to see this?" And Gen's like,
She's like, Gen, you have to see this. This is beyond belief. And Gen's like deep into like looking into the machine and trying to peer at some of the gears whenever the beak opens up to make a sound. And she's like desperately trying to get your attention, like, Gen, you will not believe what I have just seen. You have to turn in. Yeah, and finally she forcibly has to like reach under your chin with her hand and kind of tilt your vision to this glorious purple, blue, and green iridescent peacock just strutting about, looking like they are indeed the cock of the walk, shuddering this fan. And we're talking like a 4-foot fan of iridescent colored feathers like you wouldn't believe, just shaking about as this bird struts about trying to attract someone's attention. And yeah, you and Sueno, like, Sueno has finally seen a bird that isn't just some stupid little black bird with some red tips on the ends. Like, this bird, this is the reason that she could see you wanting to paint. Yeah.
And Gen's all like, "But this clockwork." So Ken's a little torn on that, but is very grateful to Sueno too for pointing it out. Anyway, it's a cute moment.
Absolutely. I'm Robert, or Bayushi Shinichi, your host and narrator, thanking you once again for listening. Remember to catch new episodes every Monday. If you want to catch them early or are looking for more bonus content, please consider becoming a supporting member of the Patreon at patreon.com/CourtGames.
I am Tyler, and I've been playing Akoto Richie. You can find me on my personal accounts on Twitter at ChurcherGames or on Twitch, also as ChurcherGames. You can find the show on the web at CourtGamesPod.com, on social media platforms such as Facebook and Instagram under Fortune and Strife, and on Twitter at L5RFNS. If you would like to contact us, you can email the show at fortuneandstrife@gmail.com.
This is Jeanne, aka Kakita Kaori, and also known as, at least today, Doji Gen. You can find me at my blog at the Winter Garden of the Kakita website, along with helpful materials for the RPG, and also on Twitter at White Veils or on Facebook. If you like, I am also found on the Court Games RPG podcast as a writer for Emerald Legacy, or check out The Table Is Yours for fiction readings of the FFG stories.
This has been Fortune and Strife, a Court Games production in association with D20 Radio Network and the Rokugana Historical Society.
Correctly with the correct amount.
D20 Radio, where gamers roll.
www.d20radio.com